and I was left in the hospital by myself, and I was trying to have a bowel movement, and I'm sitting on the toilet to have a bowel movement, and my uterus literally fell out in my hand. And the nurse, I called the nurse. I didn't know what was going on. I panicked, and I
I'm
called the
about to
nurse.
scream.
Yeah, imagine having me seeing it in my hand, and I'm like, what is happening?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Level Upload Body Balloons Face Facts with yours truly, Shay. I have a special guest today. You guys know that I currently have my Women's Health Sitting Up in My Room series going on, and I do have a guest who was pleasant enough to actually come and share some of her testimony. So I do have Shastina here today. She is the owner of the 𝗦𝗶𝘁𝗁 Beauty Collection. She's a makeup artist. She's a wife, a mother, so much more. So everybody, please welcome Shastina. Hey,
Mhm.
girl.
Hey.
Did you have anything that you wanted the audience to know before we get started?
Um, just you can follow my web or go to my website, which is www.queensgirlbeautycollection.com, and you can follow me on social media under Queens Girl Beauty Collection on Facebook and Instagram. That's all.
Sound good to me. Sounds good to me. Okay, so basically, you know my story, so I will just reiterate for everyone who may not. I recently had a partial hysterectomy. I had some major fibroids problems that kind of just went haywire overnight, pretty much. And so
That kind of hurted me though.
the only course of action that was best for me in the severity of my case was for me to have a partial hysterectomy. I do know that you yourself had mentioned that that was something that you had experienced as well.
Right. So mine is a little bit different. I did have to have a partial hysterectomy last year, and it's because I had three huge babies basically that
Okay.
messed up my uterus. So my uterus was shot, like it was just bad. It was to the point where it was falling out. Like I could see it
Oh my
every time I went to the
goodness.
bathroom. Yeah, it was bad. So basically, I didn't know this, but when you have pretty big babies over a course of time, they do damage to your body. Like people don't realize the damage that babies like it takes on your body, the toll it takes on your body.
Mm-hmm.
But I pretty much had almost 9 pound babies. One of them was almost 8 pounds. I have three children. And my last child, which was born 6 years ago, I don't know, people might not know this, but when you have a baby, they won't let you leave the hospital until you have a bowel movement. So my last son was born with a broken arm. So they transferred him to Rush Hospital. My husband went with him, and I was left in the hospital by myself, and I was trying to have a bowel movement, and I'm sitting on the toilet to have a bowel movement, and my uterus literally fell out in my hand. And the nurse, I called the nurse. I didn't know what was going on. I panicked, and I
I'm
called the
about to
nurse.
scream.
Yeah, imagine having me seeing it in my hand, and I'm like, what is happening? And she basically was like, oh, that's just you, this is normal, just push it back up. And I'm like, wait, what? Push it back up? And she's like, yeah, it's okay, it's normal, that's nothing, it's okay. And I'm like,
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
whatever. So I'm just like pushing it. I pushed it back up. Like it wasn't all the way out, but I can see it and I'm holding it. So I just kind of like push it up, think nothing's wrong. After several months went by, I had an IUD put in because I didn't want any more kids at the time. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to have kids or if I didn't want to have any more kids. So I just went with the IUD. Had an
Mm-hmm.
IUD. A couple of years went by, no problems. And then one day I went to use the restroom and I can see the IUD hanging out, and I panicked because I'm like, I've never been able to see it. What's going on? Went to the doctor, and she basically told me, well, your uterus is hanging out. It's intact, but because your uterus is hanging out, that's the reason why you can see it. So I'm like, okay, well, how can we fix this? What's going on? Why am I having this problem? And she was like, well, it's because she told me you had big babies, and sometimes this happens. Your uterus gets dislodged and misplaced. And I'm like, this is very weird. So
And
what can we fix?
why weren't you like? I mean, I get it. It's not maybe the most common thing, but like, why haven't anyone told you? Like, just so you
Exactly.
know.
this can happen. Like somebody tell me something. Like I never heard of this before. So I'm like, this is weird. So she's like, we can take out the IUD. What do you want to do? I'm like, take it out because I don't want to have a situation where it's coming out and I can see it and something happens. I just didn't want to take. I'm like, I'm not having any more children. Just take it out. So because the way my IUD is when they put it inside your uterus, the way my IUD was, and my uterus is already hanging out, it was very painful to take the IUD out. So I basically they had to kind of like pull on it and it was very uncomfortable and very painful to get it out. So that was one thing. And then with my uterus already hanging out whenever I used the restroom, it was very uncomfortable for me. It was uncomfortable to have sex. It was uncomfortable to use it was really pressing on to the point where I was at a state what they call stage 3, where it's almost completely dislodged.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah. So whenever I went to the restaurant, I can physically, when I went to the bathroom, I can see it hanging out. Like I took a picture of it. It was really like, it looks like I had a penis almost. That's how it looked.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
it was bad. So it was to the point where it was pressing on my bowels and my bladder. So it was constantly happening. I had to go to the bathroom all the time to pee. It was causing me to be constipated and just a lot of different other problems. And so they was like, we can get you to have, we don't want to make you have a hysterectomy now. We want to ensure that just in case you want to have more children, we want to make sure you can still do that. And I'm like, well, what can we do? They was like, we can do physical therapy. Did physical therapy. It didn't help. It didn't help at all. I was still going to the bathroom and it was uncomfortable. I could still see it. So it was like, well, are you trying to have more children? I said, no, I'm approaching 35. I don't want any more kids.
And even if you
So,
had more kids, well, you would have to be on bed rest, right?
yep,
Because
that's what they told me. They said if I was to try to have more children, it's a possibility I can have a miscarriage because the way my uterus is it's not in there properly. So I would have had a risk of having a miscarriage. I could have had a risk of having what is it called where the baby is born out and not in the uterus but outside in the fallopian tubes. I could have it's so many different things that could have went wrong. And I said I didn't want to risk that. I'll have 3 children now. I don't even want to try to go through all of that. So I just went on and had the hysterectomy. So that was one thing. Partial hysterectomy, even though I knew I already had kids, it's still very
for
hurtful
sure.
because like now this part of you is gone and you know that you can't have children ever again even if you wanted to you can't.
Yeah.
So it was very hard for me. The healing process was very very hard, and I know that you had one, so you know how hard it is to heal from hysterectomy. It
What
was a
type of
lot.
surgery? What type of surgery did you have? If you
I
don't
did the
mind me asking.
robotic one, the robotic. So I have like 5 or 6 scars on my stomach right now.
Okay.
They went through my belly button and my stomach, and of course, I also had because I had another issue I was having because it was putting so much weight and pressure on my bladder. It caused damage to my bladder, so I had to have a sling put on my bladder as well. So they had to go into my bladder and do some stuff to lift it up because it caused so much damage to my bladder. So I had to have that on top of the hysterectomy at the same time. So just healing from that overall was very frustrating, very hard. Sometimes sex is very uncomfortable sometimes, not all the time, but it took a long time to heal because of course I have scar tissue up there now.
Yep.
So it's very frustrating at times, but yeah, that's my story with that.
It's just so crazy because people, motherhood is a beautiful thing, and although I have not experienced it, I've seen it in all facets, and it's like people don't understand the sacrifice and the danger that mothers really put themselves in order to bring life into this world. Like it's a beautiful thing, but like behind the scenes can get really hectic.
Oh
Like
yeah.
for real, everybody just sees you with your beautiful babies and you're smiling in pictures and stuff, but you're going in the bathroom and pushing your 𝗦𝗶𝘁𝗁𝗶 back in. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that's terrifying. And I mean, for myself personally, with the surgery portion of it, I had to date because my uterus, like one of my fibroids was 11 pounds. That's
Oh
not
my
even counting,
God.
not even counting the actual uterus that they took out that was also filled. I want to say that one was like 8 pounds, like 7 or 8 pounds. I was
Oh my
walking around with
God.
a lot, so I understand. But yours was after your babies were gone. Mine was when I had like a fake baby. So they had to cut me open in order to. They
Oh my
couldn't get
God.
the robotics. Like I was trying to do. I was going to do the laparoscopic. They were like, we don't have any room in here. Like I was stuffed. So I'm talking about my stomach was hard as a brick.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
totally get it. And I definitely understand. I mean, obviously, I do not have children and I was never super like kids, that was not my claim to fame. But
Mm,
at the same time, it's always nice when you know that if you wanted to, you could. You know what I
exactly.
mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely relate to that. I totally understand. I just know that I'm thankful to be alive. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna kill myself trying to hold on to a what if. What if
Yeah.
I want kids? Well, yeah, but your body is literally eating itself right now. So it's like
Yeah.
you kind of have to make those decisions. So I
Mm,
totally understand.
yeah, that's hard. That's I'm so sorry. That's very hard to even have to fans like you're basically carrying a baby, but you're not a baby carrying a baby. That's yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yes, it is. And I just know for you, like your story, I hope my face don't look too crazy. I was clutching my pearls because I have heard in passing of like, oh, I can feel it kind of drop in like my uterus, or I can feel it's like right there, it's pressure, the pelvic floor and all that stuff. But like to go in the bathroom and to be able to see it, and then so nonchalantly someone telling me to just push it back in as though
Yeah.
like
I was
what?
terrified. Every time I went to the restroom, I was terrified because I can physically see it. Like it looked like a penis hanging out. That's what it looked like. And every time I went to it was just to be able to see it, physically see it hanging out, was
The
terrifying. Oh my god.
anxiety, and then you have to use the
Yes.
bathroom all the time. So it's like I have to do this anxious thing over and
Hmm.
over all day long.
Yep. All through the night, I couldn't sleep. I had to keep going to the bed. And I used to ask my doctor, why do I feel the need to the urge to pee? And she was like, oh, do you drink a lot of water at night? And she was just saying all these different things. And I'm like, now it makes sense. And I wish you guys would have caught it and ahead of time. And maybe I could have saved my uterus and I wouldn't have to go through all of this. But because I didn't
Yes.
catch it until the last minute, and now it's in stage 3, and it's like now it's to the point where it's almost like detached, physically detached. It's nothing anyone can do about it but remove it. So it was terrifying. It was a terrifying experience, and I don't wish that on anyone. Oh my God.
Man, when I tell you being a woman, man, listen, and that's no shade to anybody, but being a woman is hard, okay?
Oh
And it's
yeah.
a lot more than what you're wearing, it's a lot more than what you sound like. It's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. So, I have a heart for women. I really, really do. And we suffer a lot of this stuff by ourselves because a lot of times, we don't want to tell people our business, which I get, but
Yeah.
it's like if we can help each other. You just taught me something today that I never, knew. So, I mean, if I ever hear that again and have to use that knowledge, I will at least have some understanding of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that the fact that you are an open book that way and able to help other women because we all need to stick together. And it's so many different things though. So many women are fighting alone because they are too scared to talk about it. And that's one thing about me. I'm an open book. I don't mind telling my story because you just never know who you're helping. You just never know what someone's
Yes.
going through. So if I can help somebody, please, like, if you can catch it at stage 1 before it starts coming all the way out, like,
Seriously.
catch it. Yeah. But it's a
Seriously.
lot.
So, okay. Do you mind sharing? Did they only remove the uterus? Is that the only thing that they
So
removed?
they removed my uterus and my fallopian tubes. So I still
Okay.
have my cervix. I still have my ovaries.
Okay.
Um,
I
and
have
I'm
one
currently in
ovary.
menopause.
Wait,
I'm currently going through
why?
menopause. I don't know. They said that wasn't gonna happen, but I haven't had a period. I had my surgery last July, and I have not had a period since. So I'm
Well,
currently
no,
going through
you're
menopause.
not supposed to have your period.
Oh no, I'm
It's
going through menopause.
You like it's
I
official.
have the hot flashes. I'm going through menopause. Because and plus
Oh,
after 12 months anyway, once you hit that 12 mark period not having a cycle, you start going through menopause anyway. So I don't know. I didn't know that. No one told me that. I did research on it,
okay.
and then I finally went to the doctor and I asked her. She was like, "Yeah, you're going through menopause." So after that, you start to feel the hot flashes and the
Mm-hmm.
mood swings. I'm already crazy, but my mood swings are on. My mood swings, yeah, they worse. They have worsened. So yeah,
It's so okay. So for myself personally, they left me an ovary, they left my cervix, they took, of course, my uterus and my tubes, and my left ovary they took, and
mm,
they left the right one so that I could not go into menopause. Just for the hormonal. So far, I've been
right,
okay. I've been okay
okay.
with that, but I have actually experienced a menopause before this when I was trying to before I made the decision to have the hysterectomy. I was trying to shrink them, and so they had to put me on this medicine that they basically it's a medical induced menopause, and I am sending you so much love and prayers because I was a mad woman. I had to walk around with a fan.
Yeah,
I was actually complete psycho. I was sweating my bed out. Like I had to get a waterproof mattress cover. Like, oh my goodness. I
mine hasn't gotten that bad yet, but I do
I
have because
pray it doesn't.
I'm usually always cold, and now I go between hot and cold, so it's weird. Sometimes I do sweat in the middle of the night. It's not bad, but
Yeah.
sometimes I do sweat. But these mood swings,
So all
yeah,
over the place.
it's all over the place. Like I'm already all over the place, so now it's like a trillion on a trillion. So
We gonna pray for your husband too. We gonna pray for him
yeah,
and the
play because
kids and the
yeah,
kids.
because they be like, "Mommy, mean." I be like, "Whatever." I'm like, "Y'all will be alright."
Okay, for real. So, in the midst of all of that, I know that you have discovered another situation that was, um,
Yes, the redundant colon, which I didn't even know that was something that
you taught
exists.
me something. You taught me something again because when I saw your post, which is the post that I reached out to you about coming on, I was like, "What is this?" Like I had never even heard of it.
Oh yeah. So I didn't know it existed. So basically, in the midst before I had my hysterectomy, I was already having issues with my bowels and my bladder. But it was to the point where I thought I had IBS because I would be constipated one minute, then I'll be have like the loose bowels. I was like, what is going on? It was getting bad. And I had people who that I knew that passed away from colon cancer or had colon cancer at a young age. So I decided to be I guess proactive and get me a
Proactive.
and get me a colonoscopy. So I got a colonoscopy and I found out when the doctor was doing the colonoscopy, he was like, "I'm sorry, it's a little bit uncomfortable." And I was like, "I thought it's not supposed to be painful. Like, what's going on?" He was like, "Well, you have a lot of twists and turns in your colon." And I was like, "What does that even mean?" So after it was all over, he basically explained it to me and said that my colon is too long to fit in my body. Basically, it's enlarged. It's too long. So in order for it to fit inside my body, it has to do a lot of twists and turns, which causes me to be bloated, very bloated, to the point where I look like I'm pregnant if I eat a tiny bit of food, like a tiny
Mm-hmm.
bit. I look like I'm pregnant. It's bad. And I think a lot of women deal with this. They don't know that they have it at all because I'm pretty sure a lot of women get bloated after eating.
Yes, but
So
like
yeah,
it's like you can eat a chip, and it's
yes.
like,
I
I
feel
understand.
completely full, like completely full. My stomach would look like I'm 8, 9 months pregnant. I'm like, what's going on? It looks bad. So basically, he was like, and I also was having a lot of gas, and it was just to the point where I was just very uncomfortable. I was gaining a lot of weight with the hysterectomy as well, having the hysterectomy and then having this redundant colon. I was putting on all these pounds, and it's because I couldn't digest my food properly. So all this food, it was just basically just sitting there, and I'm very gassy and bloated and just uncomfortable. And on top of that, I was already gaining weight. Just it was just ridiculous to the point where I was feeling uncomfortable. I started going to dance classes, and I couldn't breathe. I was like about to pass out. Like
Your
wow,
whole body is just being taken up by this.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was ridiculous. I was in class, and people who know me know I used to love to dance, and I started getting back into dancing, and I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't breathe. I was out of breath. I was so tired, and I didn't understand why. So that situation, when I found that out, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. This makes a lot of sense. So I made it priority for me to start working out. I started working out July, beginning of July, end of June, beginning of July, because after that class, I
You're
was,
like, this is
I
too much.
couldn't.
I
This
know
is
I'm
too
getting
much.
older, but like, come on
Yeah,
now.
I was so out of breath, and seeing all these younger girls and me trying to keep up with them, I felt so embarrassed and so uncomfortable. So I just started working out, got a treadmill to start doing. I work out for an hour and a half a day for 5 days a week. And I started drinking more
Yes.
water. I don't really eat red meat like that, and it helped for me because of the fact that I have this long colon. It helps to push the water. Drinking so much water, I don't drink pop like that anymore. I really don't drink it at all. Really, just water. And me
Okay.
constantly put drinking water, it helped to flush out my bodies to the point where I'm going to the bathroom more frequently, more regularly. I don't have this awkward diarrhea and constipation. It was just really weird. So I don't
So you
have to
don't
deal
know
with that
what
anymore.
you're gonna go. First of all, I just want to say your bathroom trips are horrifying.
Yeah.
It's like either I'm going go ahead, I'm gonna
I
see,
don't know what I'm gonna get.
I'm going ahead, I'm gonna see my uterus, or I'm gonna go ahead and be tensed up because I can't get it out, or I'm gonna go ahead
Yep.
and just be everywhere. Like what
Yep.
in the world?
I'm in danger.
It was bad. But
Oh
now since I've been going to
baby.
girl, it was bad. But now since I've been working out, I started in July, this past July. I've been working out. I've been losing weight, and I don't have to. I'm not as constipated and bloated as I was. So I mean, I
I
still
saw
get
your
bloated.
picture. Yes,
Thank
girl. Come
you.
on.
I'm
Motivation.
trying. I'm trying because I was so uncomfortable. I felt embarrassed looking at them young girls and they dancing and they getting, and I'm like, I know I ain't this old now.
No, we not.
Like,
We might think it, but we're not that old. We still in our prime.
Mitch, I was so uncomfortable, and I was like, am I meant to dance again? Like, what's going on?
You like, Lord, is this still for me?
Right, basically, and I was like, I was so tired, so out of breath, but it's nothing they can do with the redundant colon. It's
Oh,
just
that's what
got
I
to
was gonna
manage it.
ask.
There's
So it's
nothing they can
basically, is
do.
it like pain, or did they give you like?
It does get painful, just from constipation, just really backed up. Like that's the only thing. It's not really bad. It's just as long as I'm drinking a lot of water and flushing my system out, it's fine. It's just me getting bloated, and that's the uncomfortable thing. I can't eat, and I like food. I love food. So
Mm-hmm.
the fact that when I eat a little bit, I'm feeling full immediately, and my stomach is blowing up like I'm pregnant. So it's very embarrassing at times. If anything, it's embarrassing because I'm out trying to look cute in this cute little dress, and then now I'm 8, and now I'm like I'm pregnant. It's like how you go from that to this?
Man, and then it's like you want to keep that morning stomach. You know how you wake up in the morning before you
Yeah.
eat anything? It's like that
Hmm.
stomach. That's the stomach I want all
That's
day.
right. That's just what I want all day, all day. Cause
I remember back in the day when I used to be like, going out and stuff, more clubbing and things like that. Like, it's sad to say, and I do not condone this or recommend this, but I used to just not eat for the whole day until like after we got to the place, after we took all our pictures,
yep, I used to do
just
the same thing.
just so you can have the stomach that
Yep, I
matches the
used to do the same
outfit.
thing. Yeah, sometimes I still do that. If I take my pictures first and get them out the way, and then I'm like, okay, now I can indulge a little bit, drink a little bit, eat a little bit.
Depending on what time you see me, I'm the ultimate catfish. I really don't care, baby, because it just
Yeah,
depends on what time you catch me.
exactly. I'm like, you know what? If you see me out of public and my stomach look like I'm pregnant, don't worry about it. Okay, just mind your business. Just
That
mind
was
your
one
business.
thing. Listen, that was literally one of the things that was most frustrating. Like, I'm already going through this. I'm fatigued. I'm tired. I'm carrying around literally twin babies and some more,
Yeah.
and then I have to answer questions about my uterus, about if I'm with child, of have to, people assuming that I'm pregnant, people staring, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's so frustrating because it's already uncomfortable. You're already self conscious about it. You're already in pain, and then
Yep.
you got people walking up to you like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I see, I'm a jerk. God's still working on me on that. I'm a jerk. I'll be like, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm act like I don't know what you're talking about. What you mean? Oh no. And then I'll just tell them flat out, oh no, it's a tumor. And then their face would crack. And so then I would be a little happy. I'll be a little happy after that because it's like, don't walk. You don't know what people are dealing with. You don't know what's going on. And that taught me a lesson too, as far as, how I conduct myself when it comes to women, because you don't know until you're on the other side of it. So until I see a leg hanging out, or you tell me like, hey, I'm pregnant, I'm not going to assume, I'm not going to ask you about it, because it has humbled me tremendously, for sure.
Yeah, life would definitely humble you.
Man.
I'm trying to tell you, because, man, that Shastina that I used to be is no longer her, because life would definitely humble you.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
So what do you wish people knew about, like, these type of ailments, whether that be the hysterectomy with the what is that called? Like a prolapsed uterus? What is that called?
A prolapse, yeah, it's a prolapse.
Okay, that's what
uterus.
I thought.
Yeah.
Is it I know for myself personally, like, because people can't see the pain, a lot of times people discount it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For women in general, just pay attention to your body. That's with anything. Always pay attention to your body, because if you feel like something's not right, you might want to go get checked out, because 9 times 10, you just pay attention to your instinct, your mind, and your body, because your body will tell you when something is not right. Your gut will too, but your body will be like, okay, sis, you need to get this checked out. So, I would just say pay attention to your body, and just know that it's okay if you're going through anything with your body. It's okay. It's nothing's wrong with you. It's just okay. It's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Because a lot of times women feel like, oh, I got this issue, or I'm ugly, or it's okay. It's nothing wrong with you. Don't feel that way. It's okay. You are still beautiful. You're still a queen, and you are okay. It's okay.
Honestly, seriously, like you said, so many people, they think, either they think they're alone and struggling with it, which is another reason why I made this platform, because I need people to understand, like, you're not alone. And then, or they feel, like you said, so self-conscious, their confidence is next to nothing. Myself personally, like, I have always been a pretty confident person. And although I won't sit here and be dishonest and say that my confidence wasn't hit by walking around like I was 9 months pregnant for about a year and a half, I still have that inner confidence, because that's just kind of how I am. But I know that if that had gone on for too much longer, like, or gotten any bigger, it was to the point where I couldn't even bend down to tie my shoe. It's like a pregnant woman, really, it's literally like a pregnant woman. So I can only imagine what that would have done for my esteem in that time. And I really wish women understood that us ignoring those problems, or like you said, feeling ashamed of them, like, we didn't choose these things. We didn't choose for this to happen to us. So we shouldn't carry shame for it. We shouldn't feel bad about going to get it checked out. And it's better safe than sorry. So,
oh yeah, definitely safe than sorry. And a lot of people, they don't want to go to the doctor. They just like, okay, well, I just deal with it. No, you might be. It's something that, and people don't realize that something can start off so small and end up so big if you don't get it checked out. Like, for instance, I have another situation I'm dealing with the mass in my breast. It's not, they say it's benign, but I still get it checked out every 6 months. And I went to around the time I went to the doctor for my colonoscopy, I also went because I knew people who were having breast cancer at an early age, people who were dying from breast cancer. And I'm like, let me just, because I never check my breast. I don't even think about it. Like whatever. So I wanted to get checked out. So I got that, my colonoscopy, and I got what is it called? Mammogram. I got it done. And I told them, like, hey, this is something I want to get checked out. I need to get it checked out. And they found out not only do I have dense tissue, breast tissue, because my breasts are so huge now, which I don't understand how this happened. But
I remember a time when you was begging for them titties.
Girl, they take them back now. Take them back, baby. But yeah, I have breast. It was a dense tissue, breasts, whatever. But basically, they would say it was hard to find anything in my breast because it's hard to see it. So when they finally did different tests, and they did a mammogram, they noticed that I had a small mass in my right breast. And they was like, well, we might think it's a cyst, a complex cyst. And I'm like, well, what is that? So they start running more tests and kind of find out it's a regular mass, but it's benign. According to them, it's benign because it's not growing. But every time I go to the doctor, I go every 6 months for my mammogram, and I have an ultrasound every 6 months as well. They say it's not growing, but from the test they send me, it look like it grew a little bit from the measurements. But I'm gonna go with what they talking about. But it's still painful. It still hurt. They say, well, breast cancer don't hurt. I'm like, well, tell me what's going on right now because this is very uncomfortable. I can feel like something in my underneath my, cause it's like right underneath my right, like kind of close to my armpit almost, like in that
Okay,
area.
yeah.
So I'm like, what's happening? So I know in a couple months to go back for another mammogram. So we'll see if it's growing. But every time they check it, they're like, oh, you're fine. I'm like, somebody tell me something because this don't feel right.
Do you feel
So
like you need to get a second opinion, or do you feel like your team is taking you seriously? Or I
I
know
feel like I need to get a second opinion. I've
okay,
been saying that for the longest, but part of me wants to know, but part of me doesn't want to know. So I'm
right?
just kind of like going with the flow and going with the
Like
thing
that's what
just to
they
see.
said. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it. I
so
get
I'm
it.
just trying to. We're just gonna see what happens.
Yeah, wait it
I go in
out.
a couple. Yeah, I'm going in a couple. My husband said if you go again and you can tell something's not right and not really working with you, then you go and get a second opinion because you need to know these things. You need to know if it's something because what if now they say oh it's fine and you come back and it's like oh no it's cancer and it's like okay well I've been coming for the last year and a half and now you're telling me it's cancer.
It's so crazy
So
that happens, and not, I mean, not necessarily even with cancer, but just other issues. Like
hmm
it's just it can't happen. So we're praying that that is not the case, and we're just gonna keep hopeful that they are being proactive and making sure that they are actually taking your health seriously. I know it's sometimes very hard because healthcare can be very dismissive when you try to, speak about the things that you're experiencing. I know for myself, when my fibroids I knew about my fibroids literally since I was probably 20 something, the early 20s. And it was like, oh, just leave it, just leave it, just leave it. And it's steady growing, steady growing, steady growing, steady growing. And now I get to the point where I'm about to explode. And now everybody's running around frantic when we could have
uh-huh.
just taken care of this before. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
the same
So,
thing with my uterus. Like when I kept telling her, like I have the frequent urge to urinate. Why do I have this? They could have caught it then, but now it's to the point where now I have to get it removed. So it's like that's why I say, just please, for all women, just go get checked out because if you feel something deep down in your gut that something is not right with your body, you know your body. You don't been with your body your whole life. You know
yeah.
your body. So if you feel like something isn't right, go get checked out. Please get it checked out because you just never know. Like I wouldn't have known I even had this mass in my right boob if I didn't go to do that. I wouldn't know I had a redundant colon if I didn't get a colonoscopy. Like these different
You
things that we
literally
don't think
advocated for
about.
yourself. You
Yeah,
advocated for yourself because they probably wouldn't have. It would have been a few years before they would have been advising you to go get a mammogram, and a few
exactly.
years for the colonoscopy.
hmm
Wow! Now you got
And I
me
would
looking like,
never
let me go
known.
on and go see what's going on.
Exactly. I didn't even think nothing was wrong. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get it checked out. You'd be good. No. And that couldn't and what if that situation would have called what if it would have been something more like what if it was cancer right then and there and I would never gotten it checked out and now I'm in stage 3 and I'm what up you just never know. So it's
Yeah,
just always good to get your body checked out. Just check on yourself. We only get one body, only one life, so just get checked out.
and you got boys to be there for it. You got families and you got a whole
Yeah.
tribe of people that's rooting for you. So you definitely we all got to take care of ourselves for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Definitely gotta do that. You only get one life, so one body, one life.
I think a lot of people are scared. You mentioned that as well. Like a lot of people don't want to know, and
hmm
I really feel like that's really big in our community, in the Black community. It doesn't help the fact that the cost of healthcare is so expensive to the point
Oh
where
yeah.
if you feel like, well, if I go get this checked out and it's nothing, I'm gonna have a $1,500 bill and it's nothing. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's like
hmm
it's so crazy that we live in a world where you have to be able to afford to get care. Like
Yeah.
if you go to the hospital and you don't have insurance, I've been there before. Like I struggle with blood clots a lot, and the last time that I had my episode with blood clots, I was not in between jobs. I had just started a new job in my probationary period, so I wasn't insured yet. So I'll go to the hospital, and I mean, thankfully they saved my life, and they did a great job. Don't get me wrong, but it's like now you want to send me for $40,000 bills. Like, let's be for real.
Yeah.
It's not a payment plan in the world that is going to be able to pay that down.
And I
So
agree. I
it's
think
just
that's a lot
really
of the reason
sad.
why a lot of women, or just people in general, like you said, they don't want to go to the doctor because of that. Like I had a situation a couple years ago where I needed to. I thought that's the reason why another reason why I got a colonoscopy because I kept seeing. I remember I told you I was having the loose stools and stuff like that, but I also one time I saw mucus in my stool. So that freaked me out, and it was just some weird stuff going on. So I was like, I need to get a colonoscopy. So I supposed to get one years ago, and I didn't get it because my job, the insurance that I had, the way their plan was set up, I had to pay in order to get my colonoscopy and my surgeries and stuff that I needed to get at that time. I would have to pay a couple $1,000s out of pocket, and I was like, I don't have money just laying around like that. Like
To
I'm
just
not.
put down, right?
Right, so now I have to put it off. So thank God there's nothing serious going on because if it was, I wouldn't have known about it because I couldn't get this. I couldn't get the procedure. I couldn't get it.
Can't even
So
afford to.
I couldn't afford to, and I think so many women and men, just people in general, they put stuff off because of the money, the price, and because of course, medical care is not cheap. It's not cheap at all. It's very expensive, and if you don't have any insurance or the right insurance, you're paying all this money out of pocket, and people don't want to do it. They don't want to deal with that, especially when you're already struggling to get by. Nobody wants to try to scrape up some money to try to go to the hospital, and then if it's nothing, like you said, if it's nothing, now you out of a couple $100s or whatever it
Right.
is.
The
Nobody wants
cost
to
of an
deal with that.
MRI, the cost of a CAT scan, the
Oh,
cost of all this stuff
baby,
is
too much.
ridiculous.
It's too much. So it's just a lot, and it's a lot that we put off and don't want to deal with because of the cost. And it's really insane. It's insane. But I
It's
just hope and
sad.
pray that people can get the help that they need and just go to the doctor and be able to afford it because it's like you said, it's sad. We can't afford basic health care. We can't afford it. So
Like, oh, do I live or do I just? I don't
yeah,
have enough money to live. Basically, like
basically,
what?
yeah. And it's sad, but you have to think like that. But that's just the way it is because so many people are struggling to get by. So you're not gonna think about my health like you got people who got, especially if you got kids. You're like, okay, now I got to take care of my kids too. I put my health on the back burner. I don't matter right now. And it's sad that people think like that because they want to make sure their children are good, but your
Yeah,
children are gonna be good if you're not good. So
a
it's just a
cycle.
lot.
It's a
It's
never-ending
a cycle.
cycle.
It's a never ending cycle, and it's sad. It's so sad. But let me what can we do about it?
We just gotta play the game, play the cards the
Play the
way
game of
we.
life. The game of life. It ain't the fun game that we played back in the day as a kid. The game of life. It's really a
Man,
tough,
who
crazy
signed me up for
game.
this? My mama owe me some money or something because my
Trying
mama
to
and
tell
my
you.
daddy. I'm
Trying to
like,
tell you.
how come y'all being nasty results in me having to pay bills?
Exactly.
I don't get it.
Like somebody give me something, but I need a refund or something. Cause what's going on?
Man,
Uh,
but I'm so thankful that you shared your stories. You that was a lot, and I'm so glad that you're handling everything. It seems like you're handling it with grace. You're being proactive. You're not, going into it, scared. You have a good support system, so that's amazing. That helps. That's half the battle. Like for
yeah.
myself, when I had my hysterectomy, my mom and my sister had to come out here and be with me while I was, in recovery because they wasn't gonna let me out the hospital unless I had somebody with
Oh
me.
yeah, they won't let you leave because that pain, trying to heal from that is people don't realize it's a lie. I couldn't walk. I told me to get up and try to walk after my hysterectomy, and I tried. I'm like, gee, I can get up, baby. I went to sit up. So it's like you gotta walk, you gotta go, you gotta have a bath, you gotta go to the bathroom. I went to get up and I thought I was dying.
I really feel like mine was, I don't know what type of miraculous, thank you, Father, because when I woke up from my anesthesia, I felt amazing. I felt good. I was walking all around that nursing station like a couple hours after, and I got
Mm-mm.
split open.
I don't
Like
know what they did. Whatever they did to you, they should did to me because I
I
was
had a good
in
team.
so much pain. I couldn't. It was like and then I couldn't. I didn't wake up right away after the surgery. They was like she's not waking up, and they kept me overnight, and it was just I had a bad experience. And me trying was like you got to get up and you got to use the bathroom, and I'm like,
Get
okay, I
away
can
from
do this.
me.
Right? No, I thought I could get up. I tried to jump up. Like I was like, okay, I got this. I went to sit up, and I felt like I was like being torn apart. Like I was in so
Ooh.
much pain, and I cried. And I'm usually good with pain. I cried. My husband was looking at me like, oh my God, I don't know what to
He like,
do.
I don't know what he like. I'm used to her thugging it out.
Yeah, I'm usually really good with pain. And that pain, I felt like my body was being torn in half. It was so bad. And then being at home, like I was trying to walk and we got stairs and I can't go down the stairs. I got to stay upstairs and I got all this table full of pills and all type of stuff. It was just, it was bad.
Well, we on the other side now. I'm almost 2 months post op, and you are over a year, right?
Yeah, year and a half now. Yep.
So I'm getting to my point where I can start to work out too. You inspire me because
Oh
I definitely am
yeah.
not trying to get this. I'm not trying to get that hysterectomy weight. I
Yeah,
already
it's
got them
definitely
TT
real.
arms. I already got
It's
them TT
definitely
arms.
real. I didn't think that was a real thing, but hysterectomy weight is a real thing. I didn't think
Mm-hmm.
that. I was
Yeah,
like, this is not happening.
but at least I can bend. So that's half the battle, okay?
Oh
Because
yeah, that's definitely half the battle. If you can bend and move, yeah, you good. You getting there. You getting there. Because I couldn't bend, I couldn't move. I was like, this is terrible.
man. Well, I am so appreciative of you. I really, really am thankful for you for coming on and sharing your story. I know that everything that you said literally would be extremely helpful for somebody watching. And not just women, but obviously this is geared towards women. So I want to thank you and send you a huge thank you for,
No
being on the show.
problem. Of course, of course. I appreciate you too.
All right, guys. Well, this has been another episode of Sitting Up in My Room, my women's health series. You guys have a good one. Bye.
Bye.